So not so far back ago, I broke my Pro PS5 controller, and when I tried and fixed it, it just got way more broken. Now I could have just spent another 200 bucks to get a replacement controller, or I can invest in some cheaper options. So I went on the web searching for new controllers, and I came across a controller company named GameSir. Already hearing good things about these controllers, I started investing in them. I came across the GameSir Cyclone V2. Now, things that I were looking for in a controller was a thing called Hall Effect thumbsticks. Because my PS5 controller got a bunch of stick drift, and Hall Effect is supposed to like prevent stick drift, is what I heard. Now, the GameSir Cyclone V2 did have those, but my jaw didn't drop to that exactly. My jaw actually dropped to the $55 price on this controller. And now that is an insane comparison to what other controllers cost are. So I ordered the controller and it got to my location in like a day, and I was like so excited. Alright, with all that yapping out of the way, let's just unbox this thing. The first thing I did with the box was looking at the controller's specs, which had a range of pro features such as Hall Effect thumbsticks, obviously, mouse click triggers, 2 back buttons, and clicky face buttons along with clicky D-pad. Now, the actual controller itself felt so nice, completely ignoring my struggle to open the box like 5 minutes ago. The controller had a really nice texture grip with really nice feeling back buttons. If you're wondering about the mouse click triggers, well, let's just say that it took me like around 10 minutes to find out how to even enable the goddamn motherfucker. When I eventually found out how to enable them, they felt just like a SCUF controller, like when I was thinking about it, and it was like a near instant trigger. It was so nice. The box also came with a charging dock, a wire, and a wireless adapter that I forgot to put in the recording, which were pretty cool. Now I did proceed to record another 10 minutes of me glazing these back buttons, but I won't make you go through that. With this thumbstick, but the jump button's over here. Now I really wanted to get into the game, so I hopped on BO7, hyped as hell. When I actually got into the firing range, it did feel like I needed to get used to this controller, which is a normal thing, but I wasn't a huge fan of the rumble in this controller and most of every controller, so I decided to turn it off. Then I hopped into Nuketown, and here's how that went. Now, the controller felt a little off at first, but it just might be a massive skill issue, which I also have. But other than that, it felt great and normal for my playing style. By the way, I did map my 2 paddles. My left paddle is my jump and my right is my switch weapons. And I know that putting a jump button on a paddle is normal, but the switch weapons is also just preference. But it also is the same for Arm Place and Warzone, so it just might be normal.
Established above. Hardpoint is active.
Now, I was getting kills every once in a while, but I did end up hitting one of these bloodthirsties.
Need hard eyes above.
Hostile UAV established above. Got the hard point. The hard point. Enemies took the lead. Got the hard point.
Yeah, so the rest of the game was just stupid things happening, but also could just be a skill issue, so I'll be adding trash sound effects every time I die.
Now we have to keep it. Hardpoint locked down. Identified. Got the hard point. You're falling behind. You're falling Point identified.
Well, anyways, I won that game, and now I'll give you my honest rating of this controller. So if I'm going to give this controller an honest review, I'm going to say out of 10, it's a good 9.7 out of 10, and that is really good. The only pet peeve I really have this thing is that sometimes this left stick will just spasm out, and I'll just be like, either running around, and also it does happen occasionally to the right stick as well, and it'll just spasm out, and I'll be looking like all around the screen. It's like it's the only pet peeve around it. It can get pretty annoying, but other than that, like in the clips of like when I keep dying, that is literally just a skill issue, and that game was annoying. The people were being really annoying. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a solid 9 point. I'm just gonna put it a 10 out of 10. That this is like a superior controller, specifically because comparing it to like other controllers that are um nearly like the span like money span between $170 to $200 to $300, and you get all those features on this controller. Like for example, an Xbox Instinct Scuffed controller. Now that controller does have 4 paddles, which it is a little bit of a buff for them, but honestly, for people like me, I don't need 4 paddles, and these paddles feel really great because what I can do is I can just like put all my 4 fingers if I want to on the triggers and bumpers, and it's still comfortable to click the back buttons. But usually how I play is do 2 fingers on the right bumper and the right trigger, and have one for both the left and the left trigger. So because I'm just so used to pressing my left paddle with my
Nobody cares!
GameSir knows how to make a controller, because this is a really good controller. For $50, you're getting everything you can get on like a literal $200 controller. Like the sorry, the DualSense Edge has 2 paddles, but it doesn't even have these tactile buttons, and it doesn't have like the best trigger stops. So yeah, so just get this.